Okay, good morning. If you are in Bay, 1 hour extra to sleep today. If you are in US, if you're not in US, then greetings of the day. Thank you for joining. I'm Mahesh, and we can get started. I have a lot to cover. This is generally a 2 hour session, and we'll try to cover. We need not to talk about logistics of the course and other things and a lot of other questions that people are going through because they're choosing their projects. We let people go and choose their projects and do a lot of stuff. And hopefully those are not covered. We will not cover today. And that's why I thought I can fit everything in 1 hour. It's always a challenge to fit things in 1 hour, but we'll try. Umesh is here. I saw Umesh yesterday, Friday, right? Thank you, Umesh. Gives me at least some comfort feeling that I'm in a crowd of people who I know. Okay, today's session is how we run the week one. Generally, what happens is you get a lot of material in the beginning. So if you go, what happens is in the course is if you join the course, you get but a lot of material to read, my offline videos too. So what you will get is you will go to this. If you join the course, then what happens is you come here and then you get these materials and you read, you watch this video, which is a summary of all the lessons. But you can read also, we give written materials. So yeah, we are a little old school. So I've written all the lessons like normally what is the key responsibility of product managers, what they are supposed to do. And then I do a case study and I ask you to do something. So that's a typical lesson in the course. So the agenda for these sessions is generally I will do an overview of week one and then we do a workshop. And these workshops are basically a exercise that we do together to make sure that all of us got the ideas and we can iterate on them. And we learn these concepts in much more in high fidelity than low fidelity, the concepts that I want to learn or I want to cover, or I think more important than others. Okay, how can you make the best of this session? If you can turn on your cameras, I really hate talking to machines. I show up every day. So if you can turn on your cameras like Chris, Amit, Urvash, Sharon has done, that will change my life. Shakti, Shafir, thank you. If you can turn on your cameras, that will get us going. That's the only investment we want you to do. The rest, everything I will cover. So if you can't, please try to, and then we'll go from there. Thank you, Laura. Okay, at least we have you on camera. If you have questions, I don't know whether you have the link to the Scrumler, but maybe you just put them on chat. These are our pod Scrumlers. So this is like the students who are already in the cohort and they have put a lot of questions. So if you have questions, just put it in chat and Lohit from our team will be able to take them after we are done. First of all, I want to thank you all for taking your time and joining us because I know there is a lot of things you can do with your time and you choose to spend with us. My name is Mahesh. I have been working as an engineer or a product manager for the last 6 years. Engineer before that, like good 14 years. So all in all, 20 years of career. I started early in machine learning and AI. I started building machine learning and AI stuff in 2016. I was at Microsoft and I was an engineer. I built a Vision AI dev kit. That was my first big thing, which Satya took on stage. Then I went to Facebook, where I built PyTorch, or I took PyTorch from single machine to multiple machines. We built libraries which other people use to train large models. So models like GPT were trained using those libraries and DeepSeek and others. So there I learned how large language model training works. And then I also tried to open source it with PyTorch. And then I spend most of my time making a lot of money for AWS, selling these large language models in Bedrock. And I built the first agentic framework to build agents for Bedrock. So that was my project there. And I also build APIs that you use to do text content moderation or guardrails. Those are the other things I did. Then I went to Google, where I build agents. I used my own frameworks or Google frameworks to actually build agents and save Google Cloud a lot of money by scaling their Google Cloud without hiring a lot of people, their back office operations like support office, support, legal, finance. I created a platform for agents, and then these team build agents which worked with humans to scale GCP. I left Google in March, and right now I'm iterating on my own company where I'm trying to see how can I take the back office agents to the world, and everybody need not to do the back office work through humans, and we can just make sure that at least we can scale or do a lot of things which were not possible in back office with AI agents now. So that's the constant work that I do. Also, I teach this course for last 4 years, and I've spent last 10 years teaching. I spent 3 years teaching school kids. I was at Microsoft. I joined this program called TEALS. If anybody worked for Microsoft, I think it's a great opportunity to learn how to teach. That's a program which allows you to teach at high school. And I was teaching CS at high school, and it was just 3 years straight. And then I had internal trainings that I used to give at Facebook. I built a course for recommendation systems. And then in 2022, I started teaching outside. And on Maven, it's been a year. So that's my journey so far. I would love to know your journey also one day, but today it's my turn. So I will just thank you for joining me. And now, if I tell some or if I give some examples, you know where I'm coming from. Okay, then. Let's do a quick, most of these things happen on board. I love to teach on board. It just makes me go anywhere and land things according to my audience, which I think is the most fun thing of teaching for me. So you will see most of things, but if I'm doing stuff on board and if I'm still sharing my screen, if somebody reminds me, I give them 10 points. I don't know what they do with those points. These are just brownie points. One day we'll figure out what to do or scale. So this is week one, right? And in week one, what we talk a lot about is, in the course, what we talk a lot about is three things. We say, hey, you need to understand the AI ecosystem. Who's who, where we are, who the players are, how they play, and what's coming next. I think that's very important for product managers, because without that, you can't build great products. Because otherwise, you will either build something that is already there or not build something that's needed. So ecosystem understanding, that's what we teach, or what's the lesson I was showing you. 25% of the course is just AI ecosystem. Then we talk about ML concepts. I believe personally that to build AI great products, you should know the basics of ML. And we teach these concepts like what is prompt, what is the structure of a good prompt. Here we cover like chain of thought prompting, and we talk about like prompt injections, all those things which you need to make sure you plan for or put in your requirements. We also talk about foundation concepts, neural networks, transformers, what they are. I think just knowing the lingo is important. Maybe you don't need to be a researcher, but knowing what they are and how they work just helps you see the limitation of the technology better. And then during this, we also let you do, and there are a lot of hands-on lab here, which helps you, no code hands-on lab, which helps you build and learn by building. And then we give you projects where you can choose one of your own idea or your company idea, and we will help you build it end to end. Or we give you our idea and we give you labs which you build, but you also create an awesome AI PRD where you justify the problem, solution, how to evaluate it, what are the responsible AI things that you're doing, and then eventually how to price it. And this, I believe, is needed to become an AI PM today. Good. So that's what you will see a lot in the slides, but I wanted to make sure that this is coming with this concept of, you will get all these things we will cover during the week. We give you the material across these three things, and then you get to see how to learn these things step by step as we go along. So one thing we do talk about in this idea or week one is that, hey, what is the brief history of how we achieved what we achieved and how we have something. We're living in an age where intelligence can be available to all of us. And with, like, if you look at a brief history of intelligence, the idea here is that how we reached intelligence that can be scaled with machines. Okay. So the idea or the thing we talk about is three main things that happened that brought us here. One is that, hey, anything data has patterns, and we can have machine learning or AI. People use these names interchangeably, so I will just put it. And this is predictive AI we build. We needed a lot of data, and we can have an API. Anybody give me an example of predictive AI? This is when I could take a lot of data, I can label it, and there, if you have seen those APIs from cloud providers where you send it does only one thing. It can find sentiment on a text. It can say it's positive, negative, or neutral. You've seen those APIs? That's what the predictive world of machine learning and AI. Then in 2022, what we did is, this is before 2022, we created something called generative AI. Any examples on generative AI?
Well, RAG-based
This is
pipelines.
oh man,
Yeah.
RAG-based pipelines. Give me an example. Like, okay, now what I could do is I can create a poem for my mom for Mother's Day. I can just because I'm very look at me, like I'm very bad at writing poems. So, but now I can write beautiful poems because I can just go to some AI, and it can also know, like, I can give it more details about who my mom is, what she likes, what she doesn't like, who she married, and maybe then it can also give me better poems. It can generate things like this. It can summarize document. But then I was very lucky to see this also. So we build these productive APIs. Here I build all the things, like we also build a Vision AI dev kit, which allowed you to see different things and objects and identify them. That was predictive. In generative AI, we build summarization. We also build tools for legal, which can draft new contracts. So this was awesome. But then we realized this gap of that it can't take a lot of action. It can't change the state of the world. It can give you something, but it needs to, as humans or people who are working as a workforce, if we wanted to bring a lot of return on investment, which we made in this Gen AI, we have to go to the next level. And in 2024, we started talking about agents or agentic AI. So what is this agentic AI? So here we have this piece of intelligence which comes from these large language models, which can generate text or generate or do Q&A with you. But how to make them get to agents is our journey. And in that journey, what we do is we do what we do with humans. Okay. So, okay, I have some intelligence which can do generative AI. So this is your GPT-5, or you can say Claude, Sonnet, or anything that you love or you love doing. But if I want to make it more useful, like humans, when we are born, think of this like a baby who is like 2, 3 years old. If they want to do anything in the world, like get me a glass of water, it's very hard for them. They need to grow up, they need to have motor skills. But before motor skills, also, they need to do or have a little bit more information about our world. And that's not here. This has the information, what's on internet, what's outside my world. But if I want to use it in my organization to do anything, one thing it will need is how the world works, how my world works, right? And that piece, as somebody was saying, Vishal said, is the knowledge piece. So I need to provide knowledge to these agents, right? And this can be my knowledge, my company's knowledge. It can be my database. So if I want to know, hey, how many vacations are left for me? Then This can't answer that question because it need to know who I am in my company. Am I a permanent employee, a contractor, or somebody or an intern? And then know what the policy is and know how many vacations can I get. Does it need any one more thing here, which is to answer the same question, I also need signals and memory if it is multi-done. That is current state of the world. Right? So here what is the current state of the world is, because if I want to answer that question, I can know that I have 12 vacations in a year, but how many vacations have I taken already? That will be somewhere stored in that some kind of a database or something. Or I would have told that, hey, I have taken 5 vacations, tell me how many vacations are left for me. Then I need to have it in my memory so that I can answer this question correctly. So that's your current state of the world. Signals and memory. So with these two, can I answer the question? Vishal is saying yes. So
You
I
need
think all of you
LLM
are
as
saying
well.
yes.
Yeah,
So
intelligence
this
is
is
there.
the intelligence, right? Great.
Yep.
So now this, okay, Umesh is saying no. So maybe we will talk to Umesh later. But I think we can do it. Let's just continue. Right? Okay. I answered the question. The question is good. I answered it. Now, what I'm saying is, hey, based on my vocation, go ahead and book. So this is not changing the state of the world. This is just giving me the current state of the right world. And these two are somebody else's responsibility. If you're building agents, right? So maybe you provide these two and now you can do this. But maybe then the customer gets really excited and say, okay, now I have 4 vacations. Can you go book a ticket for me in Hula Lulu and then I can go to Hawaii? So I say, hey, book a tickets for me in Hawaii. I have 3 kids. I have 2 kids. Maybe maybe we can adopt for few more. But the idea is tools. This is the thing that you need to change the state of the world. If I can attach that, I'm more capable, I'm more powerful. Now I can do many things. I can even apply for this holidays. I can say, hey, if I have more than 3 holidays, please apply 2 for me. That's tools. Okay. And then this can change the state of the world. So now I have how the world works, current state of the world, and I can change the state of the world. Do I need one more thing? Anybody guess?
Memory?
Validations.
Memory?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Validation, double click on that.
Because
Basically guardrails to make sure that it doesn't make any mistake.
10 points. Guardrails. You need guardrails to make sure that it happens with the way that you want it to happen. You say, hey, when you apply it, make sure that you're booking tickets, make sure there are car seats. If you're booking a car from airport to here, because I have my little one is less than 4-year-old. By the way, by the end of this class, you will know a lot about my family. That's the other piece of this story. So then you can define guardrails. These are the laws or restrictions or instructions on what to do, what not to do. Right? Your son, you can ask, this is the same thing you do with your son. When I had like my first boy, all I wanted him to grow up to do is get me a glass of water. But he needed to do all this also to get the glass of water. He needed to be intelligent enough, but he didn't know where our tap is. Then he need to know what tools to carry. Then he need to know the current state of the world. Is it hot or cold? And Papa likes cold or hot. And then he need to change the current state of the world accordingly. And then there are some guardrails. Then don't spill, otherwise your mom will kill me. Right? Those are your guardrails. Good. And all this, if you combine, is called an agent. So for this course, this is when I say agentic AI or agents. This means that we're talking about a system which can have most of these functions, and it can change the state of the world and get you work done. Right? If you remove all of this, if you want to just do search or better Q&A on the world, you can use out of box vanilla model. Then I will not call it agents. Okay. And it's a definition I created. You can have your own definition. That's okay. But for us, we go with this. Shakti, go ahead. We'll take 2 questions and then we'll move on.
Yeah, Mahesh. I mean, like, pardon my ignorance. So you've written
No
in
problem.
the middle intelligent GPTs, and then above you also mentioned knowledge. So what is the difference between these two? I thought like
That's a
LLMs
very
are the
good
ones.
question. Very good question. Very good question. So Shakti is asked, saying that, hey, you know what? This intelligence comes out. Intelligence is also an abstraction of knowledge, right? First, I need to read. Then I have wisdom, and then I have knowledge, and then I will have wisdom. And somehow, abstraction of this is also called intelligence, right? So this is how my world works is the important. So this is how world works, right? So it can understand a lot of things on internet and it has intelligence of the internet, but how your world works, how many vocations you give in your company, that you can't train GPT-5 on, right? Every company will be different. So can I put all my company's document or policies and then this can work with it?
No.
That's the piece of difference. So this is my company documentation. This is documentation of all the companies in the world that are available on
System
internet.
wise, so this intelligence is say an LLM. Then what is knowledge?
Correct.
Knowledge is a
Knowledge is
API
all
you
my
use.
documents,
Okay. It's like a
documents that
memory.
my company will provide in my HR folder. All
Okay.
the documents in your HR folder, if you attach to it, then you can answer this question. If you don't attach this, then this will be some bad answer or hallucinated answer, which may or may not be correct. But if you attach this, then we can build a system that can solve one problem, which is tell you what are the vocations left.
Got it. Got it. Understood.
And then you need the tools in your company,
Mhm.
which you can also book or apply for this holiday, right?
Got it. Got it. Got it. Understood. Thanks, Mahesh.
One more question. This is the only batch where, like, generally, like, in the class, there are like 10 hands up. Maybe those guys think that they paid a lot,
Question is,
right? So they're like, go ahead,
trying
please.
to understand, Mahesh, trying to understand this. Are we trying to solve 2 different use cases here? One is you're talking about the company knowledge about HR policy stuff and everything. Then you're directly jumping into a different use case as booking ticket to some location. So I'm not able to follow that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. We're asking a single use case. I'm a user. This is the agent I want, and I don't know what it can do. I just launched an agent in my company. The first thing I do is I say, hey, how many vacations are left? It responds 5. Then I say, hey, you know what? Can you apply to holidays for me? Then it says, yeah, I applied. It's sent for your approval, sent for your manager approval. Or I applied and I got a response automatically that they are approved. And then you are saying, hey, so these are first turn, second turn, third turn. And in third turn, you can also say that book tickets for me. Right? That's how it is happening. Chris, go ahead.
Okay.
Shafir, that makes sense?
Yeah.
Hi,
Okay,
Mahesh.
Chris, last question and then we'll move on, okay?
Okay, yeah, really quick, Mahesh. So I understood what knowledge and intelligence is. My question is, at some point, does knowledge become part of intelligence? Like
Yeah,
after
that's a very good
iteration.
question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is that? Do they work the other way around also? Right? Can we update the intelligence with the knowledge of my company? Yes, but you have to train this. It's not if agent continues to work, it will continue to update this intelligence. It will not.
Okay.
You have to retrain this, which we called fine tuning or pre-training. You have to do some kind of training, taking a model to make sure that this intelligence piece is updated. And I did a session on neural networks and how we update or how we train them on weights and biases and all. That's on YouTube. And I do these on Fridays. So maybe Lohit or somebody can put that, which talks about how to do that. And then in the course, we also do a session in week 6, where we'll take an open source model and show you how to update this intelligence with your specific knowledge and even different knowledge in different departments in your company. So you will do that as a lab.
Perfect. Thank you.
Now we are super cool. At least we have the same lingo and we are 26 minutes down. So let's do some things which are even more cool. Okay. Now, if we know agents, then let's see how these agents are different and what can they do differently or can they do more, because that will allow you to see which products can you build with these agents. Okay. So they are good with three things that was not possible before, and they made it possible at scale or with ease. Means everything that we are doing today was possible, but it was very hard to do. So they lowered the bar to these things, and some things they made possible which were impossible before. And that's what made you come here, or made all of us think that AI can actually have a significant impact on the curve of productivity for humans, or how our human race will evolve, and use that as a tool, a new tool that arrived. One is they're really good with unstructured data. When I worked with, I was very lucky that Microsoft had this program that they allowed you to go to Africa to see how that economy worked. And you can just take 2 weeks. You work with their sales team there, but you can go to, and I went to Uganda. And there I went to their biggest telecom provider there. I forgot their name now. And they gave us a project to do, which was to detect if the customer will churn. Will the customer leave the telecom provider or switch to another one or not? And for that, we needed a lot of data in a very different structured format of tables to do that prediction. And getting to that data was almost is like a most daunting task. After that, doing machine learning to say whether this customer will churn or not churn was the easiest thing. But getting this data was the hardest part, because the data, or MTM. Yeah, thank you, Raz. So then we get, so what is unstructured data, and how this agents can handle it? Can somebody give me example of unstructured data?
Conversations.
Conversations, great. So I can say all the documents, I can just upload all my documents, and now somehow they figure it out. Somehow they can create these tables automatically. Can I say audio? You have seen that audio agents, they can make sense of audio and talk to you. That is unstructured data. Can I also say video, which is images? So you can, these agents, or this new layer of intelligence with Gen AI, can process all this unstructured data at scale without you doing a lot of labeling. And that has unblocked a lot of use cases and a lot of things that were impossible in this world. Structured data, anybody give me an example of structured data? One example. Balance sheet. So Excel sheets in Excel, SQL databases, all the structured database, structured data, right? The world Oracle runs the world. Yeah, good job, databases. Chinnimya. Okay, second thing they do is they can do complex decision making. What is that? So that's the idea that, hey, you know what? I can decide at runtime where to go, and you need not to program me. So you have seen these coding agents, right? Lovable, V0, Raplet. You're not, they're making complex decision for you, and you give them a prompt, say, hey, make a website for this. Then you're saying, hey, is this, go build it. And it makes a lot of decision behind the scenes and restructure itself automatically without you explicitly giving any instructions. Right? So this was when I was at Microsoft. I was building this. We thought we can build a Alexa-like hardware with intelligence, and we can give you each a concierge in your own room, and you can just ask questions to it, like, hey, send me 3 towels. Hey, can you set an alarm for me? Hey, can you set this TV to this channel? So we thought people are calling reception for all these, and we have to run people around. Why not we just give AI? But there are a lot of decisions you need to make. Okay, towels, which kind of, all this. And we were building this if and else loops behind the scenes, those structured flows of chatbots on that era. It was so hard to put anything like that. And today, if you come, you can just put new use cases also. Like, hey, what kind of bed is this? And with that, some database connected and all the bills provided, it can just say, okay, room number, what is your room number? Room number 237. It can go check what was the last bed, or what's the pillow quality, or what's the pillow provider. And it can also give you that kind of details, which is a lot of decisions behind the scenes. And nobody has coded that or provided explicitly. It just creates those at runtime for you. So that's the complex decision-making piece. And then it can handle evolving rule sets. So if the rule set is not, you can define a workflow. Hey, if this happens, then this, do this, then do this. But also if it is evolving, it adapts to it very quickly. By adding a new document, like in our earlier example, how many holidays are left for me? If the state of California says that Diwali will be a holiday, all you have to do is just upload that announcement in your knowledge, and it can change its answer now. It can say 13 holidays for you now, Mahesh. Right? So if things keep evolving, changing them is very easy now. With all this, there are huge possibilities for product managers to build new stuff. And what are those possibilities, or where those three possibilities, areas where we are building products with these skills? They are, how are we applying agents, team? Help me now. Three main. Let me give you one and then you give me 2, 3. Maybe that's easy. Or at least a little bit easy. Okay, the one is you can build awesome, high quality automation of existing workflows. Like I was telling you, the whole concierge scenario. So if you know a workflow and it requires a little bit intelligence piece, you can actually stitch it together. And that's where you are seeing all these N8N becoming very popular, because it allows people to actually go and automate a lot of mundane work, right? Grunt work. If somebody needs to go and check a website, I was talking to a lawyer and they said, we have these cases and we have to go to this website to make sure somebody uploaded a document. And this website is down half the time. So it takes, I have 40 cases to check. It takes another 1 hour for me or my clerk to do this every day. I can automate that. It's a grunt work. There is no lawyer is not gaining anything out doing that. But I can have a script which goes, and even if it is down, it can figure out that it's down and retry in 5 minutes and all that. So those are all the workflow. When it finds out, it can also send me an email. So structured workflow, I can automate them. That's what people are seeing a lot of ROI in this year. Second thing we are doing with these agents.
Multimodal content, wherein there's a lot of videos, images involved, be it generation or processing.
Yes, but what are you going to do with it? What kind of product can you build with these? How it is helping? One is I can automate, and this can be multimodal, Vishal, also, right? So another thing there is that what we are doing is we are enhancing the performance of the people which are hard to hire, right? So one example of this is coding agents. Coders are hard to hire. Now you have coding agents in 2025, which can take some or make them super efficient. We're not there where we have a Devin or .ai which can write all the code, but using cloud code or a tool like Cursor, we're making them more efficient. So this is improving the performance piece. This is the piece of completely automating or putting just a human review, but taking most of the work away. This is improving the performance of people which are hard to hire, or we pay a lot. Doctors, coders, lawyers. That's where you're seeing we are building a lot of companies and a lot of products. Last one, maybe this is the hard one. I do the easy ones, right? It's always easy for me to just take on easy stuff and then give you the hard ones. That's like, by the way, this is not going good on a week 1 prelim. Customer support. Yeah. So customer support is a use case that I would say come here. Or I think one thing that we are able to do now is imagine what is not possible before. Imagine what was not possible before. Do things that are not possible before we can do with these agents, which can do unstructured data, can do complex decision making, and continue to evolve as the rule set evolves. Good. So with these three, there are thousands and thousands of use cases that you will build, or I will build, or people outside this room will build, and change the trajectory of our species or our humanity. And that's what people are promising outside this room, that's possible now. That's the excitement about AI. It should fall into any of these buckets, right? Now, let me give you a couple of examples of this, right? So I was talking to a lawyer, I talk to a lot of lawyers these days. So they were saying that, so this is a big company. This is, imagine like something like Lululemon. Anybody knows Lululemon? For India, I imagine United Color of Benetton.
Yeah.
So somebody like that. So they're like, okay, I got the Indians. I was like, okay, Benetton. I grew up aspiring to wear those clothes. Couldn't afford them then. So I got that, somehow got that. By the way, same for Lululemon, by the way, today. So now they have a lot of stores. What happens is when they go and make these deals, they negotiate with their customers. They have a trademark on the brand. Like United Color of Benetton will be a trademark brand. Lululemon is a trademark brand. But what happens is Lululemon, somebody in India, Philippines can start some company called Lulu Manon or something, and they don't care about them. But one day when they're Lululemon, yeah, great. Then their revenue becomes more than $1 million, then they send them a notice saying cease and desist because they say you have violated our trademark. But that company comes back and says, hey, by the way, this doesn't mean the same thing in our country. This means this. I didn't know that there is Lululemon because, as you all said, people who wear United Color of Benetton doesn't know that there is a Lululemon. And then they say sorry. And then these guys say, okay, that's okay. But anything you make above $1 million, we need 15% of that. And they say, okay, fine. We're not making $1 million anyways. And if we make it, we'll give them because otherwise they will stop our existence. And by that time, we can, in the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, we could rebrand our company, right? So that's the deal. And they have cut 673 deals like this so far in their 15 years history. But they don't have anybody managing them because it was impossible for them to hire a person who looks at all these 673 companies' sales and sees how much was made and did they made $1 million or not, and if $1 million was made, then it was 15% or not. But now with AI, I can build an agent for that, which automatically send them a reminder to send their sales statements quarterly, looks at it, and then says, hey, you owe us this much, looks at our account receivables and see if we got that money or not. And if we have not got that money, then send a mail saying, hey, send us this money. And I can take 30% of it. And I can give 70% to this company, United Color of Benetton, Lululemons of the world. Will they be happy with me? Do they need to do anything else? Was it not possible before? It was not possible because I have 637 companies, but most of them will not make $1 million. And I'm spending one person 100K or something. And we looked at that number, and that number is 1.7 million that these companies owe this company now. And we can take 30% of it and they can get 70% of it. And there are use cases left and right everywhere like this today that you can go after and build. So that was my session.
It's not like you could outsource it, right? Like someone said in the chat, you could outsource something like that. So it's not like it's not possible. It's just not feasible to build because it's
but even if you outsource it, let me give you another example then. Now you opened the box. Okay. Yes, you can outsource it, but the cost of doing that was not as much as like we figured it now that, it's millions and now you know it. But when you think about it, you think about this company in Africa or Philippines or somewhere, and their current revenue when you made this was less than $1 million, and then they made a deal at 3 million or so. And it was not very feasible for you to just even hire somebody outside and outsource and manage this for you, because this will be 3 people there. One need to look at their accounts, one need to follow up with the emails, one need to check all the statements and do it and make sure tally it with your contract, right? And then these things keep updating. These companies will die, somebody need to update it. So let's say you hire 2 people, one as a backup and one does the job, because otherwise you have to train them. It costs $800 per month, even as a call center employee. There is another company called Data Robot. So Data Robot has this use case. This is a YC funded company. So their use case is that they go and same we were talking about. The use case is that, hey, they started, these are 3 founders. They had some normal idea, didn't work. Then they went to a conference where they were looking at logistics and how people move things from A to B and what are the manual things there. And one thing they found out is that the drivers, if they're taking a packet from A to B, they need to be tracked. We have GPS system, but a call center needs to give them a call and make sure they can reach on time. So if they stop in between, this call center looks at their graph and says, hey, call the driver and say, hey, are you still going to make it on time? And the call center guy can say, yeah, I can make it, or say, no, I can't. If they say no, they have to inform the company that the packet will be delayed. So that's the job to be done. If that's the job to be done, they build audio agents, which makes this call. And they replace this $800 employee with a similar like $400. Not a great ROI, right? If it's okay, as you rightly said, that we can have this in call center, a little bit expensive, but now you can get the job done. But now see the second thing, which is was impossible before, but now it's possible. When they did this, they also figured out that this company need to negotiate the price that a driver takes from A to B. And they do it on runtime. Today, these call center guys call 3 people and then take the best. But what Data Robot does is it calls 5 of these or 50 of these at the same time, and then negotiate live by saying, hey, what's the price? We have to take this packet from A to B. What's the price? We are giving it at 55. And then some people can say, I can take it at 45. Minimum or max is 55. Some people can say 45. Then they reset it at live time, runtime to 45, and then go negotiate again. So now the savings are very different. The data unlock, their proposition is not that we are going to make your logistics easy by calling. Their proposition is we will give you the best rates, which is 30% lower than what you get from human negotiations. And you see that's for FedEx. So FedEx is their customer now, UPS, DHL, all these are their customers now because the value proposition, which was not possible before, because at runtime, having 10 callers to know what the current rate is, building that system was very hard. But now for AI or for agents, it's very normal because I'm making these 10 calls and I'm looking at the common data and I'm looking at only one aspect, and then I can go with that number and then go again. And in 10 minutes, I can get the best rate to you. So yes, it was possible, but there are a lot of other advantages that you get through agents. Okay, with that said, let's continue on our journey and see what more we have in week 1. So this is one idea we land in week 1, this idea of what are agents, what are the key differentiators in these agents. Then we look at what can you build, which is what we talked about, back office tasks. You can scale hard to hire functions. You can imagine what was not possible before. And by the way, doing all this, you can find the gap in the capabilities and you can build those tools. You will find that the audio things don't work. Maybe you need a lot of data to train these audio agents, and you can build those companies too. So these are the things that you can build. So if you're going to build that, then what is your core responsibilities as an AI product manager? We have a lesson on that. We talk about how to identify AI specific problem is your territory. Breaking it down, what is the agent needed? What are the predictive services? What are the generative services? And what are the agent specific things you need to go build? And creating a roadmap of that is your responsibility. Setting up evaluations, what good looks like, what bad looks like in this world is your responsibility. Setting up guardrails and making sure you build a responsible agent is your responsibility. And then the last part, figuring out how to price it. Like in all the stories which I told you, there was a pricing angle to it. Like, how can I charge? What can I charge? Where should I start charging? How can I figure that out? And this is what we cover in our course too, right? So first we cover technical proficiency. To build these, you need to be a little bit technical. You need to know the limitations of the current technology. People are selling you a lot of snake oil too. So if you don't know the limitations, you will either shoot too high or too low. And both cases you will suffer and your company will suffer. So that's the second. Then there is this new idea of building something, evaluating, and then doing the new iterations, rather than just figuring out everything upfront. Because most of the things are evolving, and as the customer evolve, you will evolve. So how can you start small and start making a little bit money and then evolve with evaluations is a new way or new skill that you need to build. And the pricing strategies are very different here because the cost is very different. Also, people perceive intelligence differently. For an example, when lot of product managers that I worked in, they think that we are replacing humans, or they take a lawyer number and then they replace it with a machine number and then they show ROI like that. They say a lawyer takes $800 to review this contract. It cost us $8, so we will charge it 80. But what they forget is that now a lawyer can only work for 8 hours. We have something that works 24 hours, 365 days. Can you put that in your pricing somehow? And the experience of working with a lawyer is very different because they are on an hourly, they don't explain things. You have a much richer things you are doing in your agents. So how can you price those things and make your customer aware of those? So that's your pricing strategies. And last thing I want to land here is, if you have domain expertise, that's a big differentiator in the agentic world. Why? Because you know what needs to be automated more than anybody else in your domain. So if you know logistics, if you have worked in healthcare, if you worked in IT consulting, you are the first one which will be able to identify these automation and beyond opportunities. You will be able to clearly identify the ROI and sell better. And you will be able to create prototypes once we enable you with the tools in this course. So take your domain expertise as your differentiator as you choose your project. That's what our guideline says. This is what we cover in 6 weeks. Instead of selling you this, I will just show you much more granular world. This is behind the scenes. So every week comes up with AIPM skills, which is, this is the week that I was giving you, and their lessons on problem framing, rule-based, ML-based systems. And then you create PRDs, which is problem solution and how are you going to measure it. And then we do hands-on lab, where we will build agents in the coming week, where we'll build an agent with NA10 as a backend, and we will use V0. These are no-code tools, so people who never coded can do it. And then we'll solve. Here you will build a PRD using the learnings, and then you will apply it with our hands-on lab to see what works and what doesn't work. And this will also introduce you. You will have a working prototype by the week 3, and you can actually start evaluating it and start getting feedback. And we will build backend and frontend, and we'll combine them and show you in the labs how to do that. Then we will get into how can you do road mapping and prioritization with AI specific tenant. I do a lot of workshops also. Maybe we can't do it with you today, but these sessions we do workshops. So I give you a problem where you go and solve it, and then I give you right answers. And then we will go and evaluate these things. We will show you how to evaluate a machine learning model, whether ChatGPT will work or Llama should be a good idea, or then how to set up evaluation for your agents. We do workshops on precision and recall, and we will do how to evaluate and build your evaluation specific things in your product requirement document. And then we will do ML concepts of multi-agents, how to build multi-agents with MCP, which is Model Context Protocol. And we will do responsible AI labs with LLM judges, and we will give you Azure evaluators, which automates your evaluation process. And then we will talk about pricing, and then we'll do hands-on lab on Microsoft Copilot Studio, and we will build these agents inside Microsoft ecosystem so that you can deploy them on Teams and you can actually send them to production. Here we also give you labs that you can take this code that you build and host it on AWS or GCP as well. And in the end, you will have a day where you pitch everything that you have built. Mostly we're looking for your PRDs and how you thought about, how you evaluated, and then you do a pitch day and we announce winners and Hall of Fame. That's how the course goes. This doesn't stop here. After the course, we also spend 3 weeks with you. So we do 7 weeks of course, and then we spend 3 weeks with you, where I talk about how to get ready for your interviews. Here I talk about how to have a CV that actually gets you calls. Then I talk to you, how can you build case studies or stories which are AI first for your career? And then I tell you different mocks or different case studies. I divided all the AI specific questions into 3 buckets, and I teach you how to answer them live in an interview. I take these case studies, these are details of that. First, you discover how to get calls, then you develop a strategy or getting your stories ready, and then 3 archetypes that a hiring manager is looking for. It doesn't stop there. We also do every Friday, I go on this Zoom call, which is free for all. All of you should join that call at least. And there I continue to take on latest and greatest stuff, which is happening, so that after the course, you are not left behind with some outdated knowledge. As AI is evolving, after the course, you will get Friday session. And after Friday session, people who have done the course, we do a TGF, which is Thank God It's Friday with Mahesh. So you can ask more questions, which are even more depth with what we do in the community. So these are the sessions those are coming up. We will not be able to do the workshop. We talked about predictive AI. In the first week, we also talk about the landscape, that who are people who are building AGI, who are people who are providing them the tools to build AGI, and who are the people who are building agents using these models. And then I talk about what is the future looks like. I talk about today we are trying to figure out how to make multimodal agents work. Then I talk about what are the challenges in reasoning models and what more we need to do to actually make models reason better. And then I talk about we need an OSS, and I give some timelines on these, that we will build a first operating system, which is agentic first. That's work in progress and maybe in 2027. And then how can we make AI so efficient that it can run on edge, on the robots, in the cars, and everywhere in your phone, so that actually we can have the real benefit of AI, which is do my dishes, than just taking away the work that I'm doing, even if it's called grunt work. Then this is the slides. Basically, these are my timelines of that. I wrote a whole lesson on that in week 1. This is the ecosystem play. These are the 3 ecosystem players. Then I break them down on, if you target or if you want to go build AGI, this is what they do. This is how their world looks like. This is what they look for in PMs or builder when they interview you. Then I break down the AI tooling companies, that they need to take the code which people build here and there, make it enterprise grade. They need to go in domain specific models. They need to provide you frameworks to build agents, and they need to make it so easy that anybody can build these things. That's what they are iterating. I show you their problems, what they are looking for. And then I talk about vertical agents, how can you differentiate, or what they are looking for when they talk to you. And then we'll give you a lot of project work. We say, hey, go ahead, write your problems and look at these standards. We give you a checklist of these, and we give you week 2 material. And next week is very awesome for us because it's our marathon week. After week 1, after this session, we show up 4 times. I show up 4 times in that week to help you choose the right project, pick the right problems, have more one-on-one session with me, so you are aligned and you get a good grasp on how this course will work, or get all your doubts cleared. So I will show up Tuesday morning and evening, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So pretty much every day, but not tomorrow because I need to drop my in-laws. They're visiting us. But every other day, I will show up in morning and evening to make sure you're comfortable and you get all your questions answered. This is the session on Friday. This is your homework. You need to read week 1 and week 2 material, which you don't have access to. I'm using the same slides that I used yesterday with the course. I reduced the size. By the way, this time we also have mentors. So beyond my sessions, you will also get 2-hour session with mentors. We have divided you into small pods if you join the course. And these are the mentors. We have chosen it from our last 10 cohorts. And they are really awesome people who have taken the course, actually achieved success, and are here to share their learnings and are more available and can relate more to you where you are coming from. and share their personal stories and handhold you in this journey. This is our team. Kayuri is my friend who is basically runs the show like I do. She can't make it today. Habiba takes care of logistics. Sachin takes care of lab. This is the engineer in the house who can just sit next to you and make sure anything that's not working is working on your timings and helpful. Arjita helps you write better so that you can build your brand on LinkedIn or anywhere so that people see you as the authority. She can review your post before you publish. She can also give you some starter post based on the learnings that you have done week on week. And with that said, that's pretty much all I had. All the resources are, you don't have access to them. So I will just not cover them. If you join, pitch day is 13th December, and we are just getting started. Yesterday was our first day. And that is pretty much all. If you join today, I think we can give you a code that will help you get the course. I think they have raised the price already because just a lot of other things. But if you join today, I think we have a special discount for you. Lohit, can you put the code? I can stay back for 15 minutes and take questions on the course, logistics, whether you should do it or not, anything that's top of your mind. I can stay back and answer them if that helps. But thank you again. If you need to leave, I think we are at a time where learning these skills will be essential. And without them, you will lose more than what you think you can. With new technologies, it's always people who don't catch up. They can't comprehend what they're going to lose. So I highly recommend you need not to take my course or this cohort. Please show up on Fridays. I do that for free for the last 3 years. I'm showing every Friday and trying to share whatever I'm learning. And please upskill yourself. That's the only request I have. I was very lucky to work in tech and work in companies like Microsoft. When I joined, it was like the shares were 26-30. I got promoted every year. So when I looked at my numbers, I had enough in 2025 or 2024 or even 2022, I will say. And then I thought what I want to do with my life, which can help people. And I chose to do what I'm doing here. But for you, I think having a continuous learning, especially in AI, and having a schedule of that is essential. And I want to thank you for taking the first step today. I think it takes a lot of time to trust somebody, sign on up a link, and then show up. And most of these ideas, you have not read the lessons, you have not done the pre-work, pre-reads and all. So thank you for staying back and giving me this opportunity to just be listened. So thanks. That was it. I can take questions. Sakti.
Hey Mahesh, so couple of things here. Okay, so first to begin with, so you were saying about AIPM product manager characteristics, right? So how does it differentiate from a normal product manager and an AI product manager, right?
Yeah.
That was the first question which I wanted to ask in general. And second,
Yeah,
about
let's
the
stop. Second, I will forget, man. Let's go one. Let's do it.
Yeah.
One question, one answer, and then you can come with the one turn, second turn, right? And I have a memory, right? So, okay, great. So, what is the difference? So, I think a couple of differences, right? Like identifying your customer needs and pain points is not going away, right? But how you solve them is a very new skill. For an example, Y Combinator, I will keep saying that it's a company which funds a lot of startups in Bay Area, so it's popular. If you don't know, search Y Combinator. And they had this saying for, I think now 15 years, that build something that customer love. But with the AI, especially the first two AIs where you're trying to improve the performance of people or automating it, people already want because they are paying for it. So that problem is solved. So why we need a product manager? Because product manager was supposed to identify that problem, right? Which people will pay for. And now that is solved. So with AI, you have to build a product that people trust. Now, what does that trust means? And this is a subtle difference, but it's a big difference on the product that succeed and product don't succeed. Or even they succeed in the beginning and then will crash. And that's a very different aspect of looking at building products in AI than not building products in AI. Another example is setting up evaluations. So earlier, you just came up, you define your requirements. You said, we are building TurboTax. People have a lot of problem going to taxes. These people are expensive. People can't afford it, or people don't have time. Here is my idea. Here are my wireframes. You upload your W2. I can fill the form and people can automatically set up because now we have e-filing in US. Great product, great company, TurboTax bought by Intuit, great story. But now, if you come up and you want to build the same thing, for that, testing is what testing? Testing is very simple. Are my screens going left to right? People are entering this information, and in the end, can I do e-filing? You don't even write anything on testing. But now build a product which tells you, you upload a contract and I can tell you risks, whether you should sign this contract or not as a lawyer. Let's say you're building that product. Now, what is the risk? How a lawyer evaluates it? Can everything will be a risk? How you prioritize this risk is all very subjective evaluations. And as a product manager, you need to convert this subjective into some way to set standards that you can evaluate your agent before it gets to lawyers or customers, right? And that's a very new skill that you need to do. And same in pricing. So just take these three things like identification, evaluations, and pricing. These are very different skills. Rest everything you need. Like anything you cannot leave, but you have to up skills to these three things if you want to just take three things, Shakti.
Second question, can I ask my second question?
Go ahead, man. Nobody's asking questions. This is the first time ever happened to me.
Okay. So the second thing is, so as part of this course, will we be, so we have week 1, week 2, week 3, right? So will we be reading the materials or will we have live sessions with you, Mahesh?
Yeah. So what happens is each week you will have this 2 hours long live session, and then I stay back for 1 hour for questions. And I have recordings, and you can read the lessons or watch my recordings also. So we say, watch the recording. If you have more time, read the lessons, and then put your questions in the Scrumler, and then Mahesh will come up. And then on each session, I spend 30 minutes just revising it. Because when I talk, people have like this conversation, and it's easy to consume that or cement that information than you reading offline. Then we do a workshop, which I couldn't do because of time. But then I do a workshop, I design it, and then I assign you in small pods. You go, you brainstorm with your team, you come back in 10 minutes. Then I give you the right answers and I tell you what you missed as a PM. So that happens in that workshop. And then I give you tips and tricks on how to do your homework for that week. And then you ask me questions like you're asking me now. And that session happens that session happens every week live, like this one, for 3 hours.
So
and
every
then
week we
in the
will
next
get to
week,
talk to you, right?
yes. And next week, and in the second week and the 6th week, I show up 3 times a week because beginnings are very important. That's fundamentally, I always believe that beginning of everything is super important and things are very hard to correct later. So second week, I show up 3 times. And in the end, I show up because I think finishing is very important. So before you go for pitch day, I show up again for 3 weeks to make sure you have the right thing, your deck is ready. And when you're going to show up, you're going to show up buttoned up. Because to be honest, I want to leave you with finished products. Because after that, you will go to the world and hopefully you will show up great and at least you don't miss me.
Mahesh, one last question. So when you say AI PM, is AI PM one who uses AI tools to write his documents better or like across his
No, I don't
workflow?
call them. No, that's PMs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like coders, right? So as PMs, we used to search. Now in the new world, you will be using Gen AI products to do research. Or when I call AI PM, I want you to build AI things. So either you're building a vertical agent, a horizontal agent, or improving the performance of the people, or automating something in your company. If you are not doing any of these, to be honest, I can send you like 5 things. I do that in our Friday sessions, and these tools, you don't, to be honest, don't do this course, right? And we do it in the course, like we have a section on how to 10x your AIPM skills, but I think it's not worth your time and money. Means we will give that for free to you. right? Because that, if I don't give you any, somebody will give you, and I think that will come to you. Means you need not to go to it. We are working very hard to give this to you anyways, right? All these tools will get easier, and like Google, you will be using them if you are not using them today. You can do a small course. I don't have a recommendation, but that's not AIPM. AIPM is people who actually build AI products, who solve problems using AI tools and then generalize it for masses.
And finally,
oh wow, there are a couple of questions now. 4. There is a final one. Okay, maybe you, Shakti, you hold. We take Amlan question and then Sharon.
Yeah, I want others to talk.
Because I need to leave also, right? I have this one last thing today. And this week was a little busy because I did extra sessions for Darty. Amlan and then Sharon.
Yeah. Hi, Mahesh. Thank you. Really appreciated this session. Quick question about the tools that you're planning to use in this session. I see mention of N8N and V0 and probably Microsoft Copilot. Do we need to plan for like licensing, or are you going to provide credits or centralized accounts that we can use in the session?
That's a very good question, right? So we used to use Langflow just for the same reason, because it was free. So I think V0 Dev, they give you daily credits. First, simple answer is we don't give you credits. I'm trying to work with them so I can somehow centralize buy licenses, because it's just very hard to manage. Because let's say I give you credits, but then you can bankrupt me. Right? that is like, and they don't have an easy way to track it. But I'm trying to solve that problem by working with them and saying, at least I can get some credits and then give it to you. But in this cohort, for N8N, we give you self-host instruction. So you need not to pay for it. So it's free for 2 weeks. And after that, we give you instructions and we can help you set up. So you never pay for it. So that's for N8N. V0 Dev, you get daily credits, I believe. So you can use them. I know their VP. So maybe we can work through them. I'm happy to give like $50 if that helps, like during the course, as like a static price, if that helps you.
Makes sense. Actually, I was wondering, like, if we can bring our own tools, and if there's going to be conflicts, like if I have a subscription.
Yeah, the challenge is that the labs will be subjected to those tools, right? So we have a hand-to-hand, like screenshot by screenshot. We have made it super easy and made that investment upfront. And it's the engineers are there to help you, and the mentors are there to help you. So there is this lingo in the world.
Understand.
So I would say use our tools and do our labs, and then go and use your own world, right?
Perfect.
And by the way, we will help you with that also. Like if you use, like we do a lab with Microsoft Azure for AI evaluators, but then people say we use AWS. So we help them with AWS also, because I don't want you to learn Azure if you are on the AWS world.
Got it. Thank you.
Sharon.
Hi, Mahesh. Thank you very much. Really enjoyed the session. My question is, do you need to be a PM already to do this course? Because my background is in testing traditional apps. So I'm just wondering. Yeah.
No, you need not to be. I think if you have this, most like 30 to 37% of our cohort is not PMs. Because this is a unique opportunity for all of us to see. The product manager was always this guy or girl who actually whose neck was online to be fired. But in the new world, as we all need to go and build things and the cost of building is so low, I think we all need to think in a product sense and go build and do new things. And that's where I think designer, people who have done testing, people who are in IT consulting, as program managers, project managers are finding more success through the program. Because one, it helps them get into product or take on this more like a product engineer role or product manager role. And second, it just makes them do much more in their current role. Because what product solves, I think it's everybody's responsibility in a company, which is to identify the right problems, make sure we can iterate fast on them, and then we can sell to customers and make money on it. If these are the 3 things I think all of us should do in the new world. And that's why I build it in a generic way. That's why we don't talk about like product specific things. We talk about how can you identify problems in your world and then build tools to solve those problems. And if you're interested in that, then join. Sure.
Okay. And is there
you have one more question?
Yes. If that's okay.
Go ahead.
Is there a path from testing into an AI PM role, do you believe?
Yes. Yes. I 100% believe. I think most of the people, if you look at their background, I can say 40% of the PMs I worked with came from testing background. because
Okay.
testing allows you to see holistically what the product should have been doing for who, and then how it does it, and then find that critical eye. So I think consulting and testing are two major fields that get PM, and other are developers, right? And then people who are born as managers. I don't know how they do it, but I think these three are the right ways to get into PM. And then people who just like come out of school as MBAs and then start thinking that they can build products, especially in tech. I think it's a little harder. I think consulting is another really good one because there you have this very strong muscle of identifying market opportunities and scanning them fast. So I think all of us have some kind of one vertical qualities, but product managers is very horizontal, and you need one vertical quality. Either you're awesome in testing, you're awesome in development, or you are awesome in market research and identifying patterns of market or customer patterns. If you have all of these or some of these, you can be an awesome product manager. The more you have, the better you will be. And I think it's a very good aspiration to have. I think all of us should become more, not product managers, I think product engineers going forward, because engineering is more about prompting now. If not now, then hopefully in future, then building the product sense and identifying a problem and then building something and iterating to make it solve that problem. That skill is, I think, would be superior skill for future generations of us. Our future versions. Don't think that it's for my kids. I'm thinking it's my future versions, not generation, my future versions.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Mahesh. I really appreciate your detailed answer. Thank you.
No problem. Sunita.
Yeah, hey Mahesh, thanks. Sorry I joined late, so I missed part of the beginning.
Okay, let's do it again. We were talking about agents. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I can listen to the recording. Hopefully that will be shared. I'm just curious, Mahesh, if you were to, don't take this in a wrong way, but like there are so many deep learning.ai courses for agents. What would you say are your unique differentiation in this course versus
Sunita is not
those
planted here. We didn't planted her.
No, I did not. I did not for sure.
Okay, I think the courses are very technical, right? Deep learning courses are good to know what are the tools coming up and how to use those tools. What we teach is three different things. One, we teach you how to identify AI problems, what a good solution should contain in a AI problem, and then how to measure the progress of an AI product, which I don't think anybody teaches, or it's very easy to teach without having a constant touch for 8 to 10 weeks with someone. So that's one unique thing. Second unique thing is, once you come up with ideas, how can you build on those ideas and actually ship something that customers can try? That they don't do. They give you piecemeal of my own use case and here is my tools to solve that use case. But when you solve your problems, you will run into a lot of challenges. And we think we solve that problem with you, solving for your problem, so you can see the limitations and possibilities with this new tech. And that, if you can get in 7 to 8 weeks, I think is a high value or a high user value. And that's why we needed to create this cohort. To be honest, I did like 6 weeks of just free community. And then I realized I can't do it without a structured program. And that's why I introduced the course last year in May. Okay. So those are the two things. And third thing is that once you understand these two things, then you have to figure out how can you continue to learn new skills through deep learning and the world, and then debate them also that, hey, is this good or is that not good? That's our Friday community. And you will have a community in your cohort that you work with, and a huge community which can give you real feedback on real tools, what works, what doesn't work. I think that's another awesome value that you get if you join the cohort, which is very hard to get outside. Because outside you're asking people on LinkedIn, which is mostly their sales team, which is trying to feed you something that they want.
And so Mahesh, if you miss 1 or 2 weeks due to work or whatever, is that okay to do that?
Doesn't matter.
You can
it doesn't matter. We've been very, our goals are your goals. And when you sign up for the course, you write your courses or your goals, and we make sure that you achieve your goals. And when you achieve your goals, the idea there is that if you don't achieve your goals in the course, we are happy to put you in new ones. So we give you an audit seat into as many as cohorts you want till you become successful. And I also continue to take questions over Fridays. So I make a lot of investment to make sure you get what you are looking for. Because I don't succeed by selling you a cohort. I succeed by you succeeding in your career or in your company. And that's my goal with you.
Yeah, no,
Shakti
appreciate
is
that,
like,
Mahesh. I could leverage your knowledge. And then lastly, like, do you also teach like evaluating models, like which models to
yes,
use? Because I feel as if
yes,
performance
3
tuning and
weeks.
models.
So we spend like
Okay.
whole 2 weeks into how to evaluate models and then how to evaluate your agents, how to set up your manual evaluations, which any subject matter expert can do. Then we take that manual evaluations and teach you how can you scale this with AI, like LLMS judges or AI evaluators that Azure provides or somebody else provides to scale your evaluations as you scale your product. I think most of our time, 35% of the course is about evaluations.
Okay, sounds good. And what
So 3
time
main
does this
things, right?
course take place, Mahesh? Like,
Right now.
no, it's every
So two
Sunday, 8
timings.
to.
Two timings.
Okay.
Two timings. One is 9 to 11 on Saturdays, 9 a.m. PST timings, and then another same batch. We will divide it into 2 batches, and then other batches on Wednesday, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. PST. So
Okay.
one in the evening, one in morning. You choose one of those timings. We do Friday free sessions in community, which we also post on YouTube. And then if we do additional session like we are doing next week, they happen in morning and evening.
Okay.
Both.
And Fridays,
And
what
we
time is
repeat them.
it? Fridays.
It's 9 a.m. 9 a.m. PST.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Thanks. Thanks a lot, Mahesh. Thanks.
Shakti was like, Mahesh, you said you will let me ask the question, but now you forgot about me.
Yeah, Mahesh.
Go ahead,
So
Shakti.
the last thing is, so Mahesh, I mean, I used to see your posts on LinkedIn, and I used to see posts from your students. I used to always think like, I mean, this course was for advanced learning of AI, because like, trust me as I say this,
And is that-
I'm a PM for last 10 years, but I don't know what is deep learning. I've and I don't know most
I think
RAG
you should do a
models.
little bit more research on the PMs who are posting and their background.
Okay.
And I think I take it as a compliment because most of the people who join our course, 85% have never coded, have never learned AI, doesn't know what deep learning is. The input is that, but the output is very high quality people who show signals as if they are like the graduates and they can talk transformers left and right. So, I think that I will take it as a compliment. I will tell my
And
team
like,
that this is
my
how
question
people
is,
feel.
should I like learn a lot of stuff to actually join the course?
No,
Should I know what
no,
is
no, no,
RAG model?
no,
Should
no.
I know what is deep learning?
If you do need to do that, I failed in my job. That's my job. And I think you can come where you are. And when you get out, I think you will get out as a polished product. And you will show up as this high signal, very knowledgeable person, which will scare away my future cohort people. Not working in my favor, though. But I think that's the point, right? The point is if you cannot be sound like, and if you follow our people, and if they can't sound like people who are experts, then I failed in my job. And but I think as you are doing research, don't look at my background. Look at the people who are posting their background. Look at if they have done anything, and don't look at their last jobs because they are trying to get into AI. But look at before that. They are coming from testing. They have worked in something like a supply chain,
Because
and now
I've
they are
always
talking about
hesitated to actually join, because like, okay, I don't know a lot of stuff. I don't know RAG, I don't know deep learning, I don't know all this. I
just to
can
be
learn
honest
all
with you,
this.
right? We support Maven Guarantee for a reason. You can join. If you don't like us in 3 weeks, we give you a full refund. So that's why I'm on Maven, because I've done that. I wanted to help people and I wanted to help you. And even if like 4th week you will come and say, Mahesh, it's too much for me, I don't mind giving you a full refund. The goal is not to make money from you. I think I made money, first of all. And second is like, I spend 80% of my time in my company. The goal is to make my living out of that. But here, then you can ask the second question, which is why is it not free, Mahesh? Then the challenge is it's very hard to build a community of dedicated people which help each other. And I think that what I learned the hard way by teaching it free for 6 months, and then my community numbers were going down, and then I put the cohort in, and since then we have thrived as a community. And I think without community, it's very hard to learn new skills or grow into new fields, and that's why there is a price to it, and that's why there is a premium price also. I don't take the number very unseriously. It's just making sure that you are committed to your goals, and after that you never pay me. Like, I don't have a second monetization on you. right? It's one time and then you never pay me. I will do interview prep with you. I will do 101s with you. If you have an interview coming up, people call me left and right. I pick up their phones while picking up my kids or doing something to make sure they get whatever they need to succeed in their goals. And that way, I think it's not a high price product, but I completely understand that barrier to entry is higher. And that's for a reason, because I wanted to build a community of serious people. And that's one way to just get that signal.
Thank
Till
you
I
so
figure
much
out
for
how to get
answering
that
my
signal,
question,
like
Mahesh.
any other way, that would be it.
Thank you so much
Okay,
for
if no
answering
other
my question.
questions, I think Sunita's hand is up for a while. I wish you luck. I'm so humbled and thankful that you showed up here on Sunday. Hopefully, I will see you on the other side. But if not, then thanks a lot. Bye,
Thank
team.
you.